office costs the same thing, and you can also get refills on Brothers and Epsons. Uh,
Is that so
I
difficult? I being able to refill printer ink. I know that HP is very much against it, and they're very much against you using anything that is
well,
off-brand or will
HP has
extend the life of
chips
your
in
printer.
there. HP
No, be,
has chips in their things that keep you from being able to use a refill.
exactly. And then I know that there were like um, aftermarket things that you could use that would cost less and could actually connect to like a tank externally, and HP blocked your ability to use those.
But
I
yeah, I
just
spend like 12 or $15 and get off-brand. I get two of each color and two big size blacks in one box for like 12 or $15.
But HP wants to make their money by selling you ink.
Mm-hmm.
yes, they do.
Well, I have
Discord
noticed that
runs.
the cheaper the printer is, the smaller the ink barrels are. So they want you to buy those ink barrels.
I've just
That's why I buy a low end business model.
I just never have any. I never print anything up anymore, so it's like
Uh,
I I use the scanner on it quite a bit, but it's 2023 and we shouldn't be killing trees anymore. I don't even print up my car insurance. One of these days I'm
well,
gonna
the
get.
problem I have with going electronic on everything is my file system on my computer is not nearly as transparent as my file system in my filing cabinet.
Hmm.
I just got a whole bunch of fonts and I can't even figure out where to put them. I mean, I found
Dot fonts
huh?
in your home directory. Dot fonts.
Home directory dot fonts.
Yeah,
Okay.
you might have to make the folder, but
Uh,
any fonts you put in there will get added to the. Just like dot themes or dot.
because the only place I found fonts was under slash user blah blah blah, and that required me to log in at root as root, and it wasn't letting me do that. I've got one machine that will not let me log in as root. It'll let me sudo, but it won't let me su.
The thing about putting them in dot fonts is only you will be able to use them. But
I'm the only
that's
one that uses my computer, so
yeah.
my wife wants to use it. She's got her own damn computer, two of them.
I'm getting ready to try that hack to get Windows 11 to install on a machine without a TPM because my
Mm.
daughter's gaming machine is still a very competent device, but it is not eligible for Windows 11. And
Mm.
so she's going to end up running. I'm not sure how much time. I think 2020.
Most people don't want to run Windows 11 anyway.
Well, but you're going to have to do something because Windows 10 is going to run out of support at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, and probably not for another like 5 years
I
though.
think it's 2025 is when it's scheduled to run out.
Well, that's not next year.
Like to be out in front. Everybody else's machines is on Windows 11. I'm not sure. I
Hey,
mean,
you know how to fix this, right?
run Linux, but she's all gaming and Microsoft gaming, so it just wouldn't
That's what Proton is for.
for Microsoft games on the Game Pass Ultimate.
Oh well, yeah.
See, that's the problem because I just I wish we were there, but we're not. I wish there
But
was a
we are
way to.
here.
What do we got here? Windows 10 is. Yep,
Are you
October.
streaming? Because that seems, apropos.
What's that?
Yeah, we should probably stream.
Yeah, I've been streaming
Oh, okay.
for 4 minutes and 34 seconds now. And London
Got
had
anyone
even
on?
commented Windows 10
Ah,
is end of life October 2025.
well, yeah, but how many banks are still using XP?
Yeah, I think you can pay for extended service. I wonder what that costs.
For you, probably $30 a month.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
That's not
You
going to
just
happen.
put it with all your other
I knew that
monthly
was
fees.
coming.
So Londoners listening, is anyone else there? Respawn always gets the wrong Saturday.
It's
Last time he got it right.
well, I announced it on Discord and Telegram, so I've been getting an update for Telegram like twice a day for the last week.
Yeah,
I don't know what that's all
Flatpak's
about.
been doing that. Oh, I've been doing my review on Blend OS finally. After 3 version attempts, I'm running Blend OS Plasma, and it runs. And there were some Flatpaks that didn't want to install on the first day, but they installed on the second day or the third day, and we're good. It's a big system.
That's the one where you can use any package manager, right?
Roughly. They currently have like 7 or 8 package managers you can use, and you can use all of them if they're already set up to run. But it includes the AUR. It includes your choice of Ubuntu 2204 or 2304. It includes Android. You can use either Aurora Store or F-Droid. But everything is in its own container, so it's a big system. If you try and install a deb, it loads the Ubuntu container and installs your deb into there.
So is it like a container per package manager, or is it a container per application?
I'm not figuring it out yet, but there are lots of containers. And for instance, let me go look at my file on this. It's using like 1.4 gigs of RAM just at boot, and that's because it's got to keep all the containers open.
That's a lot. I could see why somebody would want something like that if there was such a huge difference between a package on one package manager and one on the other, and I suppose there is in some cases. It's
My
interesting.
Google is not logging me in. But yeah, it could be that. But the other thing is that, you just want something that runs anything. If you know where, for instance, if Grub Customizer works better as a deb than it works as a AUR package, then you just go put Grub Customizer up. The big problem is you don't get regular updates, and you get completely atomic updates. It's like the root system is broken into 4 or 5 packages, and those packages each will update as a complete package. And so you're not getting constant updates. It's not a full Arch system where you're getting updates all the time. Why Google does not want to log in today?
Oh, darn.
Strange. I'm connected.
No feedback.
Well,
no emails.
I just got 417 published last night.
Nobody loves us. I blame Bill.
Just scaring them all away. There's a comment on the YouTube from Oh Hail Buzzle. I'm pretty sure BlendOS is using DistroBox, so it should only kick off the container via Podman when you use executables within that container.
Okay. I do not know enough. I'm going to be doing a very bad review of it unless I learn some more.
The fact that you got it to run, though, that would be what I would consider a more complicated distro.
I got version 1 to run, and there was a problem with their Plasma. You open up the menu, and the menu items pop up and then disappeared. And then I tried version 2 and I could not get it to install. And version 3, I got it installed and running, so I'm happy. Rudra says he's got 10 times the support on Blend as on everything else he's doing. Well, and so expect to see Unity take a back seat soon.
It almost feels like, I don't know. I'd hate to see that happen, to be honest, because I feel like these.
How come I can't get my browser to load?
Which one?
The Fox.
Firefox. I know Chromium.
I had everything going blip 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 blip, like I'm not connected to the internet.
Well, you certainly are.
Yeah, I kind of think so.
I had a problem.
It seems unlikely.
I had to delete the .chromium. Well, the folders from the .cache and the .config to get the Chromium.
Let's see if I have Chromium. I'm on Bodhi right now. Let's see if I have Chromium. I have Chromium. Try that. Well, the Bodhi Linux page came up just fine.
Imagine that. Does Bodhi use the ESR?
No, Bodhi uses Chromium.
No.
I load the Firefox I want. Is there an ESR of Chromium? I do not know.
No, but if Bodhi's based on Debian, that's probably why you gotta have ESR to get Firefox to work.
No, I've never run ESR on Bodhi.
Look who's here. Oh. Is that Josh? Sure is.
Which Josh?
Josh Thacker.
Oh, the voice.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, Bill. I just got your message. Figured I'd drop in.
I cannot get signed into Google.
My message. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Hey, Joe. Yeah, sorry. I haven't been on much lately, so.
Are you planning on coming back to the show?
That's a good question, Joe. I'm not sure at this time. Oh, thank you. Miss you guys as well.
Oh, I will say that my parents are going to be in town next weekend, so it might end up being that I write the innards or a large chunk of the innards for next weekend and then let y'all run with it.
What's our innards?
Kevin Mitnick, Life and Times.
Yeah, I can do that, or we can swap out sections or whatever we want to do.
Or yeah, if you guys want to pick another topic and then push that out for 2 weeks. Hey, let's interview my dad. I haven't talked to him to see if he's willing. I'd interview Kai, but she doesn't like Linux. She's looking at me like I'm crazy because she uses Linux.
There's a Josh. He's real.
Yeah, I thought I was here in video form, but I guess not.
Well, you are now.
Yeah.
You're looking a little puffy today, Josh.
That's just called fat. I went out and had a nice big breakfast.
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, well, I keep getting to where I can drop below 270 and then I bump back up again. I'm 274 now.
How tall are you, Moss?
I'm shrinking.
How tall are you?
The last measurement was 5'9.5". I used to be
5'9.5". You are not 270.
You've said that before, and then I stand up and show you my belly.
I don't care. Stand up and show me your belly again. It's the truth.
Well,
You're not 270.
Pants, so.
I still severely doubt that you're 270, Moss.
I am 274, actually.
Do you have? Are you hiding like 20 pounds of muscle in your ass or something?
No, the ass is still pretty small.
I bet he's got huge thighs. That's what it is.
No, the ass is pretty small. I got a little bit of pockets on the insides of my thighs, but it's mostly belly and under the sides of the belly and under the belly. And
he's all calves. He's the Popeye of calves.
Right.
You gotta be hiding.
Look, to be 270, you got to be hiding a lot of muscle somewhere, Moss. That's all I'm saying.
I wish.
Are you like picking up the back end of trucks on the weekends and not telling us?
No, I wish. My back is too bad to do that now.
Mine's getting pretty bad this week.
I'm left to Volkswagens now.
I had to take some muscle relaxers last night. I was just in a lot of pain.
Yeah, my back is really bad. Well, most of my back pain is actually kidneys. The kidneys themselves don't hurt, but they refer the pain out to the muscles in my back.
For me, my lower spine is deteriorating, and it's causing radiating pain down into my legs and my thighs and my buttocks.
So, anyhow, if I could stand up straight, I'd be 5'11" and a half. But
I'm 5'11".
Ankylosing spondylitis has made things shrink and curl.
I'm 5'11", and when I was 260, I looked bigger than you, Moss.
Well, I try to keep moving, and I don't really eat too much or anything, but I can't lose weight. Maybe it is all muscle. I don't know, but
right now I'm hovering around 220. So.
Oh, by the way, my next Full Circle Weekly News I did without teeth. So you can listen and see if there's a difference. Right now, I'm lisping a lot more than I did then. I just woke up and my mouth was working, so I said, "The hell with it," because with teeth I have my S's and T's better, but with teeth my SH's and CH's, the stuff in the back of my mouth, because the teeth kind of crowd in on my tongue. And so it's easier to talk without them, but it's harder to sound good without them.
So, Josh, what have you been up to lately, man?
Oh, Lord. Everything. We've been running, man. I don't even know where to start. But, yeah, today's my mother's 82nd birthday. She's about an hour and a half away down in Fresno. My aunt had a seizure, so she's down with her right now. So we're probably going to be packing up and heading down there fairly soon. But, yeah, just family stuff, a lot of overtime at work.
What's your work now?
Same.
I'm still doing the garbage truck.
You say, I work in sanitation. That's what you say.
Yes.
Nah, garbage man. Why make it try to slap lipstick on a pig,
Yeah. But, garbage men tend to make a lot of money, so.
If you work for a city, I unfortunately work for a private contractor, so not quite as much.
Switch over to a municipality.
Well, what do you think of that?
Right.
He wears
What's up, Moss?
Going back a few decades, my old man's a trash man. Oh, what do you think of that? Remember Tommy and Dick? See, we're all getting old.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, feeling every day of it too. When'd you do the braid there, Joe? I haven't seen that before.
While I was very much on the muscle relaxers, my wife decided to.
Did she get you in the sleep, or did you?
I was awake, but I still don't remember her actually braiding this. I did not see it I did not know that it was braided until I went and looked in the mirror this morning. So I guess I was a little high last night.
Joe got Mickey'd.
Well, I want you guys to know that psychologically and physically, 70 has been a bad turning point for me. It hit me harder than anything else. And every time I try and say, no, I'm really not that old, there's some part of my body that wants to argue with me about that.
You know what, Moss? It's really sad and pathetic that I'm 42 and I feel the exact same way.
Well, you've taken a lot more punishment than I have. I pretty much stayed out of the line of fire for most of my life.
What's that say for when I turn 70?
For that matter, I didn't even raise my kids past the age of 3. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, we have, that's James. And we have a rogue Roomba, so he's kind of taking care of it as it gets stuck up against my computer chip.
Hey, Kai, did you want to come on this podcast? Get your computer together and log into Discord, and I'll send you an invite. And...
Sure, the more the merrier, huh?
Huh?
I don't think I'll be able to today.
Okay.
I got work in about an hour.
Oh, okay. She's got work in an hour. She says no. She just doesn't like you guys. She doesn't want to hang out with a bunch of old guys.
Oh, can you blame her?
No, not at all.
My voice level is a lot lower than the others.
No, I haven't noticed that.
InitRD says.
Well,
my
it's
voice
because
well, part of it is because I lean back in my chair and don't get near the mic.
Because listen, what happens when I do that? If I lean back
in my
chair.
Yep.
That's what's happening.
What? The cat gave me kisses. Quit looking at me like that, Kai.
Is everybody running 21.2 now?
Yes.
No.
Although I'm considering, I'm playing around with LMDE right now, and I'm considering, as soon as they come out with LMDE 6, I might switch to that just so I can get newer packages.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are clamoring for an official switch. But I don't know if that's in the best interest right now.
So InitRD cannot afford a Focusrite.
Yeah, I was talking to him. They are pricey, but they're just.
Well, they're what were they? $100?
I think the Solo is right at about 100, and then the next step up is the 2i2, I think, where you got 2 hybrid inputs. And
that would be good.
That's 189 for that one. Which I'm thinking about getting. That way I can I can plug in.
I told an InitRD that Bill bought me my Focusrite Scarlet Solo, so I can't say it was expensive. And he says, "Say you broke yours, get a new one from him. Send the actually not broken one my way."
I tell you what, InitRD, if I buy
shady business.
If I buy the 2i2, maybe I'll just send you this one.
Is he in America?
If not, it might be cheaper just to buy him one.
Well, what some guys did in England when they wanted to send me something is they just bought it on Amazon and had it shipped direct to me from Amazon. So
I tried to order a Majid a Q2U, and I thought it shipped. I thought it charged me and everything, but it came like 3 days before delivery, the scheduled delivery day, and it told me that I couldn't like buy it and ship it to him.
I am trying to go on Monday to ship off that one that you sent me to Dale.
Says he is Dutch, so he says New York is not New Amsterdam anymore, so he's not American. London says, "Isn't Focusrite made in the UK?"
I think it is. The biggest advantage is the fact that it's got USB-C, which is a way better connector than that USB-B that the other ones use that keeps shorting out.
Well, let me see if I can get internet to load here.
Any internet? That's what you said earlier.
Let me see Amazon. Yeah, Amazon loads.
And Majid. Let's see how many times we can split this screen up.
Good morning, gents, or good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are.
Are you on holiday?
Oh, that's right. He's in the.
I'm in Marrakesh.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We're just sitting at one of the squares.
Oh, cool.
Next to one of the main mosques here. Just had dinner, and having had Moroccan cuisine for the last 2 days, and which I love. I was aching for some normal food, so we just had a KFC.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
They've got the Focusrite Solo on Amazon right now for $79.99, and then there's a 10% off coupon.
Get the fuck out of here.
There's several
Sounds like a
people
lot of money,
selling
that
it at
does.
different.
I paid
Several people
110
selling
for
it at
mine.
different prices.
$69.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Well,
Suck
there's
it.
several different sellers at different prices, but one of them is $79.99 and then a 10% off coupon.
So $71.
Wow.
So, Joe, how are you doing? Have you recovered from your fentanyl highs?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much past that. Now I'm just having lower back pain. I just keep falling apart, man.
It's
Getting old
it's called
sucks.
old age, mate. It's
Yeah,
called
I
old age.
know. No, I'm just having lower back pain. I already knew that my spine is kind of deteriorating in the lower portion, and just the last couple of days, the pain has been kind of radiating it out into my butt cheeks and into my
Oh, okay.
thighs. So I spent some time last night with some muscle relaxers, and I woke up to this.
How's the weather, Majid?
Okay. Pardon?
How's the weather?
It's hot. I mean, it's okay. Let me have to calculate it into Fahrenheit for you guys, don't I? It's about
Not
105,
necessarily. Okay.
105-ish.
That is hot.
And so we've got into the kind of Middle Eastern rhythm of you get up relatively early, you go do stuff, and then the heat of the day you go back and have a nap, and then you come out again around sunset time, which is what we've done.
Have you guys heard what's going on in Arizona?
I've heard that you guys have got just like it's very hot.
Chill?
I know it's hit 110 and stuff, but
No, what's going on in Arizona is like the cement and the asphalt. People are getting severely
Melting.
burned and ending up in the hospital
yes, I did hear about this actually. Yes.
because the cement and like metal handles and all of that stuff is ending up at roughly 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and people are getting like severe burns.
Yeah.
Just from
I
touching
heard
it.
about kids, especially like toddlers and whatever, when they come running out and they don't realize barefoot and whatever. Yeah, no, I've heard about this. I've heard about it.
I heard they made 22 straight days of 110, but I stopped listening after that, so I don't know if it's continuing.
But hey, climate change is just made up, yeah?
Yeah, that's what they keep telling us. And you've got this Republican push right now to use more fossil fuels and get off of everything else. Destroy the EPA.
That party needs to change its icon from an elephant to an ostrich.
Right? Oh, there's literally a push right now to completely destroy the EPA and use more fossil fuels.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, dear.
After all, we'll never run out.
I promise that if Trump ends up president again, the first thing he's going to do is remove us from, what is it, the Paris...
Oh, yeah, the Paris Treaty.
Yeah.
There literally is a group of so-called Christians who are labeled millennialists that believe that Jesus can't come again until we have pretty much wiped out what the earth has left.
Yeah, I remember reading into this, actually, the whole
annihilation
millennial controversy, amillennial, post-millennial, pre-millennial, rapture, and all this kind of stuff. And I remember thinking, a bit odd. It's very American. I've never heard of those beliefs on this side of the pond. I'm sure they exist.
Well, it's
sure
very simple.
But
in the 16th, 17th, 18th centuries, England was sending their criminals to Australia, and the religious fanatics to the U.S.
Oh man, I love the fact that you can say that. If I say that, I'll probably end up on a watch list somewhere.
But it's strangely accurate.
On a watch list.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm on a watch
list. Yeah, they'll be like, he's the one weirdo using encrypted chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one guy anonymizing all of his browsing.
You see the bumper stickers on my back wall? They're from the Freedom from Religion Foundation.
Okay.
Make those bigger. Majid, have you met Josh Thacker? He was.
I think we have met briefly on a live stream. Hi there, mate. My name is Majid.
Hi, Majid. Yeah, Josh. I believe we did meet one time before.
Yeah.
We're trying to get him back on the show.
Yeah, the more the merrier, especially, since the crazy quotient
the more
has
the longer,
actually with me.
We've had 6 people on the show before, 7 once or twice. Oh boy, it makes the show longer.
Depends on the topic still.
when you and Joe, you guys started, there was a whole bunch that came in. You guys had a slew of hosts.
Yeah, because that's when Leo,
me, Joe,
Norbert,
Leo.
and Nishan.
Norbert was much later.
Yeah,
Nishant was
Norbert
much
and Nishant was were both much later. They started
Leo
at the same
came
time.
in with us. Tony was
Tony.
with us.
Yeah, there were 2 Tonys,
Tony
weren't
and
there?
Tony.
Bo.
Yeah, there was actually 3 Tonys, but you
Yeah.
don't remember the other Tony.
Well,
So-
there were
so
only
Tony
2
and Tony.
Tonys. 2 Tonys at the time. The third one came later.
Mm.
And we've gone through a number of Joshes as well.
Yeah, true.
For that
Open
matter,
it quickly.
our first Josh was after we came on as a team. The kid. He still didn't come in with us, but he came in.
So
not
even the
long after
water's
us.
warmed up.
Yeah, because
Right.
because that Josh was running our website for a little while and setting up our WordPress and.
Oh yeah, have you heard? Moss reckons we need an audio engineer.
Yes,
Oh,
we
that's
need
right.
an audio
Turn that
engineer.
knife, why don't you?
I didn't want him to get scot free with that one. Do you know what I mean? That was just, and you didn't keep it in either. At least in the episode.
Well,
yeah, I got rid of it because it was way before. It was
That was
before
hilarious.
we started. I was so far behind because I had to use a different truck this week, and it doesn't have.
I've been censored.
It doesn't have a workspace
Yeah.
in it.
If only we had an audio engineer, eh, Moss?
If only.
He's not gonna let this go. Maybe
No, I'm going to keep reminding you.
Maybe
See, most of the time it's me that makes the profile.
Well, just because I'm a little more leftist than you, Bill, doesn't mean you got to censor me.
I think I'm going to add it to. I can still add it
Yeah,
to 4.
you've been cancelled, Moss. You've been cancelled.
No, I'll add it to.
Whoa, I'll stop showing up. Boy, that'd save me a lot of time each week.
So, what are you guys' thoughts on the new the new Mint? What are you guys thinking?
I haven't installed it yet, so I don't know.
Oh, I'm running.
Still haven't done it yet. All right.
We still haven't upgraded my wife's new machine because she hasn't moved things to where I can plug it in.
Is the upgrade path open?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. It's in your software manager.
It was like the
Share them on
next
the
day.
group.
Yeah, you have to go into the software manager and click edit.
Philip family.
I'm doing an update right now, so it takes some
Absolutely
time.
fantastic. I really like that Yaru theme.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Yaru theme has got me slightly conflicted because it's like getting a Linux Mint with a Yaru theme seems to be a bit. If I liked Yaru, I'd get Ubuntu Cinnamon.
No.
Just saying. I mean, I know there's more to a distro than just its theming and its icons, but I mean, you know.
If I wanted to run snaps, I'd get Ubuntu Cinnamon.
No, yeah, there is that.
Ubuntu Cinnamon's actually pretty sharp.
Is it?
Yeah, they've did a good job of integrating Yaru into
I wouldn't know.
Well, I mean, if you install the latest version, you get more up-to-date packages, but it tries to...
Mate.
You can have it.
Is Mate hardware accelerated, though?
I don't know. It runs.
Yeah. Hello?
I mean, my ultimate would be Linux Mint with Moksha for a desktop.
Imagine that would run pretty lightly.
No, 10.
I am currently in Bodhi, as I may have mentioned at one time.
Sorry, just paying an ice cream vendor.
What
Probably
currency?
a good idea right now with those temperatures.
What currency, Majid?
Dirhams, Moroccan dirhams.
Uh-huh.
So, which is there's my boys having their ice cream.
Oh,
See the whole
fantastic.
smile. You're on the internet.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only
I'm a
102
teenager.
here.
All right, how do I turn this back around? Oh, here we go.
How hot
Yeah.
is it in California right now?
I'm showing currently 89 degrees. We just came out of a heat wave.
It's 102 here. It's 105 with Majid.
Yeah, I mean here, the temperature is still technically over 100, but we've got a nice breeze developed now. and it's dry heat. Dry heat, I can manage dry heat. Humid, I just can't do.
Don't come here then.
I mean, yeah, I remember you were talking about Doha. I remember feeling the same in Jeddah. It wasn't as hot as it's on the Mercury as the other places would be, but it was so uncomfortable. It's unbearable. And at least here, so far, it's dry heat. And you walk for a bit, you get hot, you drink some water, you cool down, you keep, it's all right. I can manage anyway.
Kind of surprised that it's dry heat there with those palm trees in the background.
Yeah, I mean, this is an oasis apparently. It's how the city sprang up. It started out as an oasis.
Okay.
I am convinced there's something going on, because there's if you guys can see, right? There's national flags everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And I've been seeing loads of police and army people about as well. So I wonder if there's some kind of procession, or if the king's in town or something. One of my friends was saying that's what happens sometimes. King comes to decide to take a visit. He's got a palace here.
Well, tell Chuck I said hi.
Has anybody used Ubuntu Unity recently? Nope. I'm thinking of spinning it up.
Well,
we were just talking about that a minute ago.
We were just talking about BlendOS and saying that Rudra is getting 10 times the efforts from other people with him on BlendOS than he is on all of his other projects combined. So Unity may be falling by the wayside again. You don't know.
Yeah, because I remember, I think you mentioned, was it last week, that he's had 10 times more interest, was it? Yeah. Because I remember spinning it up. I remember spinning it up on live USB, and it was, on modern hardware, it ran blazingly quick. At the time, we were all complaining about how bloated it was, and slow and whatever. But now on modern hardware, 5, 6, 7 years later, it flies. It's a good hobby. I don't know if they should have made it an official flavor, though. That's not to denigrate what Rudra's done, but at his age and all the stuff that
he's done. He did all the work. He checked all the boxes. They didn't have much choice.
Yeah.
What's up?
So what is Blend? I've not heard of this.
BlendOS is the latest from the mind of Rudra Saraswat, and it's Arch-based, but he has it where you can include the package managers of any distro almost, including Android.
Strange.
And everything runs in containers, and it's immutable.
It's like the ultimate immutable distro, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's immutable. It's like the root system is broken into 4 or 5 chunks, and those chunks each update atomically in full. You don't get little program updates now and then. You just wait until they're ready to update.
Big block updates.
Yeah.
So Leo wants to know, is it based on Debian like vanilla is, or is it still based on Ubuntu?
Blend?
Yeah.
Blend is Arch.
Oh.
You can then add in whatever repo you want to add in, and every program you loads into that repo's container.
Interesting idea. You always wanted that app-based Arch system.
Well,
now we have. Well, now it's a completely.
It probably will not run on
it's a completely agnostic system, isn't it? Because you can install anything.
It's becoming more agnostic. Yes. There are only.
I run it all, by the way.
There are only 8 or 10 distros right now. Let me see if I can get something open here.
Yeah, actually, I remember there was about 9, I think 8 or 9, something like that. A couple of the Ubuntu's, Kali, Arch, Fedora, and some others which I can't remember now.
Well, they're a bit optimistic in their opening page. BlendOS is an immutable operating system and a seamless blend of all Linux distributions, Android apps, and web apps. I don't think it gets all of them just yet, but
yeah, Leo says shame.
All right, chaps. I might have to love you and leave you. It's prayer time here now. Everybody's starting to move into the mosque. So I'll catch you guys on next week. It's nice to see you all.
Nice seeing
Greetings
you.
from Marrakesh.
Take care, man.
You take care, man. Bye.
take it.
Bye.
Well, I kind of didn't get mine in there. Let's see.
Gotta be
Always
quick,
up to
man.
date. BlendOS handles everything for you in the background, and your workflow is never interrupted as an atomic operating system, with your system being kept up to date at all times. BlendOS doesn't include the driver for XYZ by default. How do I install it if the system is immutable? Just run system install package in a terminal, where package is the name of the driver package in the Arch Linux repositories, and reboot. Yep. Android stores. You have your choice of Aurora Store or F-Droid.
That's
They're
right.
running
It does
Wade-
Android apps.
They're running Wadroid behind the scenes to do that. Supported desktops: GNOME, Plasma, XFCE, Cinnamon, Deepin, Mate, LXQT, and more coming soon. Supported distributions:
would you want to do
Fedora
that?
Rawhide, Arch Linux / Crystal Linux,
Somebody
Ubuntu
must have needed
2204
that.
and 2210, Kali
guess.
Linux, Rocky and Alma Linux, Debian and NeuroDebian. The BlendOS installer is called Jade GUI, which they adapted from Crystal Linux.
That must be just one of those
Well-
things. We did it because we could. Beyond that, I don't know. Somebody, I'm sure there's use case. There's always use cases out there that I never think of. So,
Well, I know Dale says that an immutable system is not for any of his systems. I do not know why, but I do know that based on my installation, it's taking up 1.4 gigs of RAM, and I'm trying to remember how much disk space, because it was a lot more than usual. And of course, when you're running containers for all these different distros, it's got to be bigger.
Yeah, and it's going to definitely use more RAM.
Let's see if I can get logged into Google this time. It appears I can now, so whatever, Google must have been under attack a moment ago. Okay, episode 45 show notes. Reviews. 38.5 gigs of space used. I've got about 5 flat packs installed. So yeah, 38.5 gigs of space. Now, you probably don't want to run this on a 2000 era dual core Celeron.
Yeah, it's a pretty chunky system.
But considering I'm running it on a 2014 system, and I've got 16 gigs of RAM, and I've got an i7 on it, and I've got an SSD on it, it runs.
Yeah.
I'm running it on a T540p.
I need to do an upgrade on the old laptop. I've still got a second generation Intel in mine. Old ThinkPad X220.
Yeah.
I just did the desktop and went with a Ryzen 5700X and 32 gigs of RAM and a RX 6750 XT video card, which, by the way, $400, and that was the best price I'd seen it at for a very long time. For the video card alone.
Oh.
Yeah. They
I
are
don't know
not cheap.
about those things.
Which video card was it?
RX 6750 XT. As a matter of fact, I can get this. It's massive. It's huge. I'm glad I have just a bulldozer of a case, because I don't know what I would do if it was like a mid tower. I don't think I could have fit it.
Yeah, I think I'd have to. The only box that would fit in for me would be my Z800.
Yeah. Yeah, you need something pretty large for that guy. It just barely cleared mine. I had to take a fan out. And I've got a huge case.
Are you guys looking at the comments? Because Leo is asking questions.
Well, I'm not looking at the comments.
Oh, no. I'm not even on the web browser right now.
Yeah, I never look at the comments when we're streaming. I can't balance too many things. What's that, Joe?
Super Mario.
On your phone case.
On my phone
Oh,
case.
okay, I got it, Lou. Red Dead Redemption.
The question: do I read the?
Leo wants to know. So, did you play on the video card first, Josh?
It was Red Dead Redemption 2, I believe.
How did it work?
Fantastic. No problems whatsoever. I mean, everything. But I'm on a 1080p monitor, so I went way overkill. This is really probably, well, high-end 1080p, kind of mid-tier 4K. But I figured if I'm gonna drop, $250 or $300, might as well just splurge and get the bigger guy.
Leo just posted in public. Y'all don't watch YouTube chat, eh?
No, he posted that a little while ago.
10 minutes, 9 minutes ago, yeah.
And then I went and looked at the chat.
There you go, 1440p.
We have a thunderstorm going on here. I have no idea if I have signal ongoing or not, but we'll find out.
I pop out the chat with my account signed in, and then I make that stay on top of whatever else is going on. That's how I do.
Oh, there you go.
YouTube.com.
That is a good idea, Bill. Thank you.
Yeah. That way you can make it as small as you need to, and then you can just put it anywhere.
Yeah, I'm terrible about looking at the chat.
Yep.
Because it seems to be...
I just don't multitask well, people.
Well, you're on a single screen, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It helps to have multiple screens when you're doing all that.
And also, whenever I open up YouTube, I'm getting the echo. 4 seconds
you gotta
later,
mute it.
I'm hearing what we're saying.
You gotta mute it.
Mute it, and you can also set...
Where's the mute button? There's the mute button.
You can also set YouTube to not play automatically when you load it. That's what I do. To where you have to hit the play button, because it makes somebody like me panic, and I just start clicking shit to try to make it stop.
Bill's got anxiety.
A little bit, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm the same way, man.
Leo says you can pause the video and the chat still works.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's what I do. But I pop out the chat and then I close the rest of the window. You can also do that.
We are using
Firefox, you weirdos. Yeah.
What made you think we're not using Firefox?
I'm not using Firefox.
Use Android, you weirdo.
Actually, I'm not using Firefox right now because I couldn't get Google to load, so I tried Chromium.
Oh.
I wouldn't have admitted it, but...
You should never admit that, Moss.
Vivaldi Master Race.
Though, I've got my uses for Chromium. It turns out that Discord runs better in Chromium than it does in its own Electron app. Which, there you go.
Okay. Well, Leo, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, and you don't.
And
have
they're
to
all
show
named
it off.
Leo.
You don't have to show it off.
I can feel the love.
That's your fellow countryman, Joe. You got to be in solidarity. And
he might be my fellow countryman. That doesn't make him not an asshole.
I thought you two, got together and had like Lone Stars at the bar. And
dude, if we were in the same town at the same time, I would most definitely have a beer with Leo.
Probably not a Lone Star though.
I went into Buffalo Wild Wings the other day, and they no longer serve Newcastle Brown Ale, and I
really?
walked right out.
Yeah. Oh, Shiner Bock, dude. Can you get Shiner?
I didn't really. That's a Hefeweizen, right? Or
no, it's like a lighter version of a Newcastle. Yeah, it's a Bock. It's a darker beer. It's from Texas.
I might try that next time because I think Newcastle got bought out a few years ago by somebody.
Well, there's a company called Brooklyn Beer Company in New York that makes a brown ale that actually I think is superior to Newcastle.
And the reason I'm talking so much smack about Leo is because he just admitted that he's just an iPhone user and doesn't like Android.
I remember some episode a few years ago where it started out like one of the little sound bites you guys used to do when you had a real audio editor.
You mean Leo?
There was a sound bite where you said, Leo, this is why everybody hates you. Da-da-da-da, the music started. Oh my God. What was that all about?
Shots fired.
That was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, we are getting closer to a tentative date for the next Distro Hoppers. It probably will be the 7th or 9th. We're down to a coin flip on that now.
What are you guys looking at?
Well, I know I'm doing blend. Let me see. Is Dale got anything in there? Dale is doing Eric is doing Pop OS 2204. I just saw he filled in some script. Thank you very much, Eric. And so what's Dale doing? Dale is doing Peppermint OS.
Oh.
The now Debian-based Peppermint.
Well, it's been Debian-based since the last version.
Yeah.
But it's even weirder now.
Oh, Wayward Leo.
Oh, it's Leo. He had to come defend himself.
Exactly what it is.
And his use of iPhone.
Listen, man, I'm sorry that it's better, and you just haven't figured it out yet.
Well,
I don't think I'm ever going... I must be an idiot because I'm never going to figure that one out because iPhone sucks. I have an iPhone. I might not technically be the owner of that iPhone, but I am the only one that uses it because it belongs to, my work.
Listen, all I'm saying is I can go to bed with it at like 10% battery or whatever and wake up and it's still not dead. So, that's good enough. It's
Same
good enough
with
for me.
Android.
Oh, but you just have to hope and pray that it goes into that deep sleep mode and the app doesn't wake it up in the middle of the night and then you wake up to a dead phone. Okay.
It works just fine.
Okay. It took him 4 years. How long? How long did it take him to get that? Because I was on Pixels until I got the iPhone.
Oh, wait. Was the iPhone, remind me, were they the first ones to get rid of the 3.5 millimeter jack?
You damn right, and everybody else followed.
But
no, they
hold on. I do believe it was like 2006, 2005 that the HTC HD2 came out, and not. Was it the HD2? No, it wasn't.
It doesn't count because there were only 100 units sold.
No, the HTC Dash, one of the most popular phones of the time, did not have a 3.5 millimeter jack. It was actually featured. It was one of the phones constantly used by the characters on Leverage, which made it so popular. But it was one of the first phones to not have the 3.5 millimeter jack, and you had to have a a mini USB adapter in order to use 3.5 millimeter.
So Android sucked first. Great. Awesome. I'm glad you agree.
That was actually a Windows phone. So, no.
So Windows sucked worse. Nice.
I'm not going to argue with that. Windows did suck worse.
Will not argue with that.
That phone was fantastic. That very first Windows phone with the little flip tiles and everything. Dude, no, I'll argue that one too.
No,
that
I will argue.
I
will argue that sucked, and that the Windows Mobile 6.5 was 1,000 times better before they switched over to Windows Mobile 8.
Oh, it got better. I will say.
No, it got. The UI got slightly better, but I did not like the fact that they got rid of their entire back catalog of applications that had been generating since Windows Mobile 1.2.
Yeah. It did ruin the desktop.
Leo,
I agree.
I've got a Moto G that's just a 2022 model, and it still has a headphone jack, so heck with y'all.
Look at that.
Yeah, I got an Android. It gets wonderful battery life. It kills applications if you put them in the background, like after 5 seconds. So it's so irritating. Like you put Netflix away for a couple seconds, and then you got to reopen everything. It's a OnePlus Nord N20 5G.
I just replaced a battery in my son's S6 this morning, and I am very proud of myself.
Wait a minute, cool. S6, as in they're on like S22 now.
Right, but you're not going to buy an S22 for a 13-year-old.
Oh no! That's just impressive. That phone is still alive.
My son has an S7.
Not really, Leo, because they jumped from the S10 to the S20.
Oh, they cheated. Okay,
yeah, they did.
Just like GNOME did. They went from 3.4 to 40.
That's still a lot of generations. I mean, that's still what, 7 generations back now.
Yeah.
Either way, that's a $1,700 phone.
Yeah.
Plus,
no, my son still runs the S7. The only problem is that anything older than the S7 isn't actually able to, or isn't going to be able to get onto networks for forever because they're cutting out like, what is it, 3G and below or something like that, or 4G and below.
Well, it does do LTE. So, I mean, I'm going to ride the train as long as I can because my other boy's using a Note 5, which was my old phone.
Wow, I had the Note 3.
Yeah, the Note 5. It's still perfectly capable devices, but that's what I had before this Note 10 Plus.
I have a Note 5. I have a Note 5 out in the garage that I was going to use for one of my kids, but the problem got to be, while it still worked with the stylus, the actual finger touch sensor quit working. So that's a little odd.
See, the problem I have with Android is that in TV shows, only bad guys use Android.
It's too open. It's too open. That's your problem with it, right?
Yeah. So the only criminals use Android.
The walled garden isn't high enough.
That's correct.
I thought that was flip phones.
Well, see, because
they
smart.
snap it in half after one phone call and throw it.
It's a burner phone. You got to get rid of it, man. They can triangulate you using the towers.
Well,
that's gotta be it.
Josh, I wanted you to know that I'm still using my OnePlus Nord N200 as my Oct4A. It is currently printing something on my 3D printer.
Nice. Yeah, this is my first OnePlus, and it's been a great phone. I can't complain.
Well, I haven't given up my Pixel 3a XL yet, but I only use it for things I'm listening to. The Moto G stylus 5G 2022, they have to get all that in before you know what phone it is in every way except speakers better than the Pixel 3a. But the speakers on the Pixel are so much better, and you got dual speakers on the Pixel. So you
are you using Lineage or Android on that, Moss?
I am using Calyx OS on it.
Oh.
On this one, my Note 10 Plus, which is kind of aging now, I still need to get the screen replaced because it's got some gnarly screen burn on it. But
I will say the Moto software is not as good as what's on the Pixel. We have more glitches on the Moto than we had on the Pixel.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the Pixels, and before that, the Nexus line. You just get that really stock Android.
Well, I think Moto would have it down by now. After all, Lenovo seems to know what they're doing in a lot of ways.
Hey, Leo, honest question. Does the iPhone have something similar to like Samsung DeX?
Not really. You can cast the screen, but
they want you to go buy a MacBook or something. They don't want you converging like that.
No, well, I take that back. Actually, yes, they do. I think it's just an iPad thing, though. So you can like move your mouse over to the iPad and then control everything from your keyboard on your Mac Mini, whatever. So yes, but not with phones.
And there's Eric.
Hey guys.
The newest co-host of Distro Hoppers Digest.
Oh.
Here I am. I was just listening to you guys. Oh, well, see, I have this, and I have a God, what is the other? I can't even think of it right now. You put me on the spot.
When
no.
See,
Look at
you need a
that.
lapel mic, Bill, and then you just need to have that in front of you.
No, he
Like
needs to
you'll
do that
love
with his
this.
other microphone. Yeah, that giant thing.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
That would
giant.
actually that would free up a USB port for me. I have a physical 3.5 millimeter jack on the framework.
I never can get those to sound right though. Any of the 3.5 millimeter microphones, they just never sound good.
Well, you got to contend with like all of the electrical noise and everything else that's on the board.
You can make them sound better with like a USB sound card, but I've never been able to get one that actually sounded good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you're doing that. You're isolating it away, so it works.
Just butt in, Eric.
Eric's all
no,
like,
I'm
I keep trying
waiting.
to talk to you. No, go ahead.
I've talked with Leo before. I know how this goes. You got to
don't
just
wait.
step on it.
Just go.
No, I had that same problem, and I got it's like almost like a line filter. It's just a little board with I guess some electronics that try to clean up that signal, the hum and all that stuff, and it seems to work pretty well. I think I paid maybe $10-15 for it, and I use that when I'm using a lapel mic, and yeah, it seems to it's much worse without it. Not that a lapel mic is ever quite as good as a handheld, but
I don't know.
But I agree. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind trying out some of like the Rode lapel mics.
I'm looking at them right now. Yeah,
just because they're supposed to be like really high quality lapel mics and wireless, you know. So,
I mean, most talk shows do lapel, and you know, they sound pretty good, at least from how I'm listening.
You know, it is a matter of by comparison, right? If you have just a junky open air kind of mic like a laptop has built in, or your phone or something like that, you're usually going to get worse results than a dedicated mic. Even if that mic compared to a better mic doesn't sound as good, it's still a huge improvement. So
oh yeah,
I actually wanted to complain about Majit because I don't know what he does, but it's like he's too far away from the mic. You know,
his audio.
Today he was on a cell phone from Marrakesh. So
yeah, no, his audio has been kind of all over the place. It's a known issue for him. He is working on it. The problem got to be that his computer was like randomly switching his microphone or something, and
gotcha.
We haven't figured out the cause, but we are trying to make it better. Plus, I think some of it is that he's in a really tiny room when he's recording, so
gotcha.
You have to turn down the gain in order not to get the echo.
Yeah,
I just noticed that of the 3 Q2Us in here, mine's the only one that's mounted on top.
Oh.
Should I mount it under and have it swing up toward me more?
It looks that way because I got it on one of these.
Well, yeah. But
super personal preference.
Mine's all here.
I don't think it matters. Whatever's.
This just happened the way it sort of screws down. Like it just sort of fits better this way for me, and I like how it sort of tilts. I'd rather have it be down below me instead of above me.
Well, still below me. I just keep the arm stretched out more.
Josh, are you running the Q2U?
Yes, sir.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Four people running the Q2U?
Yeah.
Really just no
or 5. Because Leo's running the Q2U, right?
Nope. Let me see. Hold on. Q9U.
Oh,
but
okay.
Same
you
thing.
upgraded.
I mean, yeah, the Q2U is the backup now.
So what's the
other mic I have
of that one?
Well, we've got 5 Samsons in the room, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've been wanting to ask you about that, Leo. What's the advantage of that one? I saw that it's considerably more expensive than the
Not Q2. Well. I mean, what the Q2U is 60, and this one you can find for 99. So it's not hugely any more. I think it used to be like 169 or something.
50% more expensive.
Not 50.
No, it's quite literally 50% more expensive.
Okay, but what does it do that the Q2 doesn't? Is it just looks or?
It's a different sound. I think it's got a whole lot more on the low end, which is great for me. But
that'd be good for me,
it's just a bigger version of the Q2U. Really, same thing, dynamic.
Well, I'll be buying that next then.
Well, maybe. I don't know. What I'm glad I have the Focusrite because the air button on it really helps with bringing out some of the high end that you miss with this one. I really do think that the Q2U is probably the best mic that you don't have to think about. This one, you need a little bit of high end on it.
Leo, Dale is using some sort of preamp that he
Cloud
said you
lifter,
recommended to
probably.
him.
Did I? Well, did I?
Yeah.
I don't have a preamp, so I don't know what I would recommend
well,
other than the
it's
cloud
something that
lifter.
just plugged in right between the mic and the mic cable.
Yeah, I
And we've
don't
been
know if I
having a lot of trouble
recommended
with
it other than like saying, "Hey, this is the one
a
I saw that people
clarifier,
use
right?
for the
Okay. Well,
what's that?
he calls it a preamp, but
It is. It is. It's probably a cloud lifter or
So-
there's like a TNT.
well, we've been
something or
having
other.
nothing but trouble with it. So
The one I have that is the same as a cloud lifter, but it's inline, like you're saying. It's called a FET head.
Fat head, yes.
And what it does is for a mic that needs a boost, because it just has a sort of a lower. The terminology is escaping me right now, but
You need
for
more
certain
power to
mics,
push it, really.
exactly, for certain mics you need that are not using electricity, using power to power themselves. They just have a sort of lower floor, and the FET head or the cloud lifter
Joe, you look different.
adds.
Joe, you colored your hair.
That's a neat trick.
Yeah. Lean into it. Lean into it.
It ain't even on.
The other mic I have is the RE320 Electro Voice, and
wow,
it's a good mic, and I like it. But I'll tell you what, I paid the money I paid for it, and then realized I had the Samsung first, and I'm like, it does have a little bit of more of a broadcast quality, and I guess it's a little bit better. Although it is a little too rich, a little too deep. I actually have to tone down, mix out some of the low end, because otherwise it's really rumbly.
Yeah, you have one of those
this
voices.
Is a ribbon mic, and it gets way too boomy if I'm all up in it. And
yeah,
this thing is the
well,
size of
that
a Monster
mic,
Energy
Bill,
drink.
That mic also picks up around it, just like my
this
old.
Is a condenser, so it's
yeah.
It needs a studio, is what it does.
Remember when I started the show, I was on a Blue Yeti, and I always sounded like I was a little bit more open air than everyone else.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like Leo said, the Samsung is just it's a no-brainer. You plug it in with USB. You don't need special cables or any kind of mixer or anything. You just plug the thing in and it works.
I got 5.
That's what's great about the USB is that it provides that 5-volt, so you don't need something like a FET head or a cloud lifter. It does that for you. So that's a really good mic, and this has that too. This was the other reason why I got this one. I wanted some more of the deeper, because you could see it in the what do you call that thing? That little graph that shows you where it picks up. And whatever. This one I like the look of that one more.
Where it picks up.
And the USB, it's USB-C, which is nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got both.
Yeah.
I've been waiting on the Q3U to come out with USB-C.
Is that a thing?
Dad said it's a sound curve.
Sound curve.
Oh, sound curve. Yes, that's it.
No, I totally made the Q3U up. It just sounds like it makes sense to me.
You had me Googling it, man. I was like, holy crap, I gotta buy one.
There is only Joe.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that they do a pretty good number of sales with this mic, because I've had a bunch of people ask me like, "Oh, what should I get? What should I get?" And it's like, look, if you're not like high-end broadcast, like you're going to be, making voiceover production. I mean, I think you could still do voiceover with this if you wanted to.
You can hook these to a phone. We do that at the truck shows. We hook one of these with a mini USB on
with
one
an
end,
adapter,
with the USB-C on the other, and hook it to a phone, and it sounds. Walk around recording little interviews, and it sounds professional. Because the cameras on these phones are fantastic nowadays. And you couple that with a decent mic, and it works perfectly.
If I did something like that, I would make sure to get the windscreen that was all fuzzy and had like hair everywhere, so I could,
Oh yeah,
push it in people's faces and tickle their noses and stuff.
No, get one of those
That'd be-
long poles that you can put it on, walk around, the guy with the
Oh, just a big boom. Like, here you go, sir. How do you feel
put a
about
lot of
this on
thought
your
into this,
face?
Leo.
Oh, of course, man. Oh yeah, I'm just a big troll all the time.
Yep. I think
I just discovered that
what's his
Chromium
name?
actually transferred all my passwords
her
from
away,
Firefox.
Leo.
Bye.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Logan from Tech Syndicate, he used to have that kind of wild hair thing on his microphone when he was working with Wendell.
That's awesome.
And he'd be talking into it, like troll hair on the mic.
The heck is that, Joe?
This is one of the first mics that I purchased to use on mintCast was the Blue Snowball. And don't get me wrong, the sound quality is okay, but this picks up everything.
Yep, same as my Blue Yeti.
And then it's even got a little switch on the back.
Yeah, and that switch doesn't do shit.
I know, dude. And they're like, "Oh, this puts it into unidirectional mode," and I'm like, "No, it does not. I can hear my air conditioner 3 rooms away, dude."
But it's still my backup microphone, just in case.
Ooh, he's got
the Yeti.
There it is.
Is that USB only on those, or can
you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, full size USB.
Okay.
Joe, just buy a Q2U and let that.
I will. You know, I haven't had money in a while. It's the economy is killing me, and I lost 20% of my purchasing power. I did the math, and it's really kind of horrible right now.
Hey, eggs are affordable again.
Eggs are affordable again. That's really nice. But the overall cost of groceries is still up, like, what, 20% or something?
That's why I shop only at
I buy my
H-E-B.
eggs from the farm, so I'm not even talking about
You
egg
could buy
prices.
a chicken cheaper than a dozen eggs right now.
If I were allowed to have
tots
chickens,
are
there would be a
$7.
coop in my backyard. I've raised chickens before. It's really easy. You throw some feed out and you make sure the dogs don't eat them.
We're not supposed to have them in the city limits, but I've got 3 neighbors with chickens in their backyards, and nobody says shit about it. So.
Dude, life's hard. Nobody should say shit.
Yeah.
That's
we're
when
currently
I park my
paying...
truck in the driveway, people call the police.
Oh, Jesus.
I have an HOA board member that walks by. Not my wife, but one of the other HOA board members. That's a real not a nice person. Walks by my house every day, so. He would definitely complain.
We are currently paying $3.50 a dozen for fresh off the farm eggs, and we could get them cheaper, but we like these people, and we get all colors.
I was able to buy
brown, but some of them are even green.
Yeah, my mom has a lot of green ones. But yeah,
makes
like
you want to break out the ham, right?
That's right. I was able to buy the super expensive, crazy organic whatever eggs for a while. For cheaper than a normal regular dozen of eggs. It was kind of
How
insane.
did a regular carton of eggs end up like $9?
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know.
But
I haven't seen that.
Well, the stores are willing to pay it to stock it.
Yeah.
And then everybody else was still willing to pay it. So yeah, you're still right.
I'm so stuck on potatoes, man. That was like poor people food. Now it's $7 for a bag of tater tots. I'm like, what in the hell's going on there?
And you gotta be quick to get a bag of them too, because our local Kroger down here sells out of them like that.
You bet.
My wife has done really well at Aldi. We've become big fans of Aldi. They have, and what's funny is I will use one of their products and then use a comparative one to, it's like Publix in my area is the grocery chain, and I end up liking the Aldi stuff better. In almost every case. There's a couple of things I've had from there that I didn't like, but for most, and it's usually cheaper. And
you can get in there,
but it is hit or miss.
Mostly around here. Yeah, mostly around here, if you want the best prices, you got to go to like 5 different stores, which will have something here that's cheaper, something there that's cheaper.
That's the truth. Yep.
We have an HEB opening up next year.
And you'll go to one store forever for the rest of your life, dude. I promise.
That's what I'm hoping. No, and it's opening up so close to the Kroger that I'm really hoping that they will get into a competition and try and bottom out those prices.
The Kroger will come. Okay, let me tell you something. So we have 2 big chains here. We have HEB and we have United. And United still has insanely expensive prices. It is a convenience thing for most people. That is why they go to United and they end up paying more. But dude, HEB beats any price in town. Any price, unless it's like rock bottom sale on the corner store or something like that. The only time they will lose. And they have a card. If you get their little debit card, you don't even have to add anything special to it.
You guys have like the Walmart? Walmart neighborhood market?
Yeah, we have both within a couple blocks of us, the neighborhood market and the full size, yeah. And no, what's Walmart. Really What's really bad is I also have a Sam's Club card that we got for free because of family.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I found that we save money on at Sam's Club is anything that they have on clearance and Monster, because it's the only place you can still get a case of Monster for 36 and some change.
Chickens, the rotisserie chicken, buy that and
Walmart.
rip that up and use. No, dude, Sam's are bigger and cheaper.
Okay,
And
okay.
rip them apart and then use them in the food that you're gonna eat. Then take the bones, make stock. Dude, I'm telling you, this stuff saves you tons of money.
Yeah,
Well,
we tend to
but it's a
get
loss
the
leader.
the Sam's chickens.
We tend to get the rotisserie chicken at the end of the day at Walmart because it goes
it's
on
discounted.
clearance. Yeah, it's discounted.
Yeah.
So and then we shred them and eat them that way.
Yep. And I mean, I'll do the bones too, dude. Like, because what is that? I mean, like a 32 ounces of stock is $2-3.
Well, we tend to do that when we
turkey.
do a turkey or when we do bone and ham. But
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever done that with the
Dude,
chicken bones.
If you ever make beans or anything that says add water, don't add water. Add chicken
stock.
stock. Yes, dude. And it
Yeah.
just it opens up the flavor of whatever it is you're eating, dude. Rice and beans, easy.
Or if you don't mind buying things by the pallet load, there's always Costco.
If we had a Costco, I would drop Sam's in a heartbeat and go to Costco. But
We
don't
also
have
have a
Costco.
Costco, but
Oh.
with me
Costco.
being on a slightly different diet than everybody else, I'm not quite sure that buying in bulk is the way to go.
We have
is
a
kinda
Costco,
silly.
but it's 32 miles away from us. Yeah.
Ooh.
Like, what am I going to do with 300 pounds of chicken breast?
Well, my father-in-law will
I'll
go
eat
to
it.
Costco. If my father-in-law will go and he'll say, "Well, do you guys need anything?" And I remember my wife one time said, "We haven't had croissants in a while. How about croissants?"
Oh my god.
He brought back, it was like 24 croissants. We're like, "What the heck? They're like this big."
Look, I would have to get a giant chest freezer before I would consider going to Costco.
You don't have
Yeah.
one yet?
I don't.
need
I don't.
one.
I just have a small deep freezer. I
Well,
need a
you
giant
see,
freezer.
his garage is full of gym equipment, so there's no room.
That's what it
I'll
is.
get one of the. I'll get rid of one of the shelving units in order to put in a chest freezer. But
Yeah. I mean, it's so worth it, dude, because you'll find meats deeply discounted at Sam's or even at HEB, and I mean, it's like, well, I guess I do need 18 pounds of this, and then you just chuck it in the freezer, dude,
Look,
and then you eat on that for a month.
Yeah.
I buy my chicken breast 5 pounds at a time anyway, and then I cook
Yeah.
it and then I shred
That's
it
what
and
I
then I
mean.
freeze it. So freeze it in 100-gram baggies. So I can I meal prep that so that I can easily make another meal just with one serving that's already measured and ready to go. I just put it in the microwave for 1 minute and 45 seconds. It's already seasoned. Yeah. After it's cooked, it's already cooked. It's frozen, and all I'm doing is thawing it in the microwave. I season it when I bake it, and it's usually pepper, garlic, and some kind of barbecue sauce, and then it's.
And you don't get that
it's shredded and
microwave
ready to
taste
go.
to it?
No, because it's usually mixed.
I think
with
your
something
microwave's
else.
dirty, Josh.
Yeah,
I think you're right. It's pretty
It
old.
doesn't impart
It's not
a flavor.
dirty. It's seasoned. It's like a cast iron skillet.
That's
it-
You
but
gotta
I-
season that microwave.
go ahead.
I was gonna say the trick I figured out with a microwave, and I can't believe I'm like 48 years old and I just finally figured this out, is don't use high. Use a power setting. Like a lot of times now when I heat something, I'll do a couple minutes longer and then like on 60 or 70%. And what really microwaving does to food whenever it kills it is when it's on high and it's just continuously blasting, it's only getting really around the edges and it's not heating the center.
Right.
What I've realized is though, just having those couple second breaks in between those blasts to let the sort of heat radiate through, it makes a huge difference. And stuff that I would have never microwaved before because it would turn out to be like chewy garbage, that actually works really well.
Yeah.
So.
Also, like a lot of times, I'll be cooking it again right afterwards. So I'll thaw the chicken and I'll have a stir fry going, but I don't want to start with frozen cooked chicken when I add it to
Right.
the stir fry. So I won't even get it hot. I will just get it thaw, and then I will put it into the stir fry, add whatever other sauce I'm using, more garlic, more pepper, and it comes out great.
So I didn't know this was going to be like a life lessons episode of the Roundtable. But what y'all need to buy for your microwave is an Angry Mama. It's like $5. You can find it at like Walmart in the clearance bin, Five Below, all these weird places. It's
Angry
a little thing.
Mama.
It's got an Angry Mom face on top with hair. The hair pops off. You fill it with like quarter full of vinegar, rest of the way with water, and then nuke her. And
Right.
she'll like all her insides will spew out. And then I'm telling you, the microwave clean takes 15 seconds. Like,
Well,
doing your hand like that is the only thing you got to do. And
Oh, that
everything
is
just
so
For
funny.
cleaning.
I'm looking at it right now, and it really is
Yeah,
an
me
angry
too.
yeah,
mama.
it's an Angry Mama. It's so awesome.
That is crazy.
It is the best $5 up because my daughter loves Chef Boyardee ravioli right now, and if you don't put something on top or the microwave blows it off, like splatter everywhere, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
let that go for
I
a
am
week.
aware.
Yeah, you let that go for a week, and it just ain't coming off. So
No, I
Angry
think
Mama
there's some
dude.
chili in there from 88.
Oh yeah,
actually.
dude. Yep, that's one of the best chilies you ever made. I guarantee it too.
Best one, brother. I love reconstituted chili. It's my favorite.
That is it. Angry Mama, get one. It's worth $5.
You mentioned the chest freezer. My
Yep.
my family. I grew up on a farm, beef farm, cattle farm, and once a year for the family, we would butcher one steer, and it would be hundreds of pounds of meat. And so we'd put it in the freezer, and so my grandparents had a freezer, my aunt and uncle had a freezer, we had a freezer, and everybody sort of got the food distributed, and that was what we ate for the most part.
For me, I did live for a while on a farm, but it was definitely a corn farm as opposed, or corn and soy farm as opposed to anything else. But really, they had a chest freezer, and it was always full of beef because they would make a trade with somebody, and we would get half a cow. But my dad, on the other hand, we would get we would hunt, and we would get a deer, and we would take that to the butcher, and we would say, "Hey, clean this for us, and you can have half of it." And so our freezer, and we didn't have the chest freezer, we had the giant, tall, standing, deep freezer, would just for like 3 months would be so full of meat that nothing else would be able to fit in it. And it was kind of great because I don't remember how many deer you were allowed to bag versus how many we actually bagged. But I'm not
We don't talk
admitting to any
about that one.
crime. I'm not admitting to any crimes here, but
Yeah. Theoretically.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
I ate a lot of venison growing up.
Me too. And because a lot of hunters didn't actually want the meat, they just wanted the trophy. I always made sure I told people, hey, I really like venison. If you don't want it, please don't leave the deer.
There's nothing like coming home and finding a deer hanging on your front porch.
Yeah.
Well, if I knew what to do with one, I'd like that too, but I don't.
Yeah.
Well, gents, I have to run, so it was good seeing all of you.
See you, Josh.
Yeah, Josh.
Been a long time.
Man.
Come back to us.
I'll do my best.
That's
one of the
not
Till
good
then.
enough.
One of the
It never is, Moss. It never is.
I remember one of the times, and this is a story about my grandpa who passed away, I think 2 years ago. So, we came home. We found a deer on our front porch, but it was the middle of winter in Iowa, and we had been gone for like 48 hours. And so the deer was like frozen stiff. I don't know if you've ever tried to skin and clean a frozen deer, but it's really not fun.
I can imagine.
Wake up, Bill.
This new chair is really comfortable for me.
We ended up in my grandpa's garage with a space heater running to try and get the skin thawed enough that we could.
Bill, I didn't hear your verb in there. The new chair is blank for me.
It's really comfortable. I don't sweat to death in this thing because it's mesh from top to bottom.
Oh, that's this one, dude. Yeah.
There's $20 cheaper. You can get the same thing only with a padded seat.
Right, but
the back is still mesh, but the seat is padded.
The seat is where I do the sweating the most. So, especially sitting in 3 hours in mintCast.
We call
there are
that
so many chairs that are
swamp
not
ass.
comfortable for me that I would not want to buy one with a mesh seat and then find out that I didn't like it.
I love it.
I bought the same chair.
I suppose as long as you don't sit on it naked, a mesh seat would be good.
No, it's easy to clean, man.
I wasn't talking about cleaning it. I was talking about extruding through it.
Yes.
I bought the same chair 3 times in a row. The Office Max makes this one that I really like. It has a padded seat, but the mesh back is. I have to kind of sit on a cushion anyway, so it doesn't matter about the seat. But the back, I found that when I had a solid back, man, I would just sweat.
Send me the model number so I can look at it.
Okay, let me get it.
You don't have to do it right now. Just sometime or other, get around to.
If I don't do it now, I'll forget.
Right? Yeah, that's me.
Vapor for brains. Just mist goes away.
I'm lucky to have the mist at all.
Well, things are getting pretty misty for me these days, let me tell you.
Has anybody read anything interesting lately?
I've been reading a lot of things interesting, but
here's the one I got.
The best stuff I've been reading has been Charlie Holmberg. And no sense.
You might like Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson.
I might. If it's better than Lindsay Buroker, I will like it.
It's better than Lindsay Buroker.
I mean, like I said, Lindsay has like 70 books out, and I've read at least 40 of them. But after you read so many, you start noticing that all of her characters are the type.
All of her characters are the exact same character, just in a slightly different setting?
Not really, but all of her characters are like she grew up in a biker gang. All the guys are assholes. They could be good assholes or bad assholes. Depends on whether they like you or not.
Sounds like my family.
All the women are strong and can probably kick the shit out of most of the rest of the gang, but they're good. They're very well written. They draw you in. They keep you going. I've read 9 books in the Death Before Dragons series. I've read 8 books in the Legacy of Magic, which is actually a almost a new series, but really comes after Death Before Dragons because everyone who's in Death Before Dragons is also in Legacy of Magic. Just there's more characters in Legacy of Magic, and who the main characters are shifts.
Actually, Brandon Sanderson has like 4 independent books that he just put out, or 3 of them are out. One of them's coming out eventually. And so, what is it? The Frugal Wizard's Guide to Medieval England is really good. Tress is really good. And Yumi and the Nightmare Painter is also really good. I recommend all 3. So, but I am a Brandon Sanderson fan. As
you may remember, I read aloud to a friend of mine who's currently in a assisted living facility in Detroit. She's about a year and a half older than me, and almost nobody calls her ever. But so I've gotten to where I'm calling almost every day and reading to her, which we used to do back when I lived in Detroit. Friday nights would be our reading night, but now I just read to her every day. And I started reading the Paper Magician series by Charlie Holmberg, and she is just blown away by it.
Paper Magician.
There's actually 4 books in the series. The series is called Paper Magician, and the first book is called Paper Magician. And it's spectacular stuff. Second book is Glass Magician. The third book is The Master Magician, and I am forgetting the 4th book is The Plastic Magician. It's this one Moss. Let me see if there we are. And
it's kind of got like ergonomic controls. So I was having really bad back problems for a while. And what's nice is this one has, the back adjustment, but it also, the seat moves forward and back. So you could kind of hit where it's set, where it's like hitting your back.
Regular $300. It's currently on sale for only $200.
Right.
Sounds like a steal.
$200. I mean, each one has lasted me probably, I want to say like a solid 5 years of like sitting in them way too much.
You can get up into the thousands with these things.
Oh, easily. So this has been the good compromise for me, is that it just sort of, it's good enough without paying literally, hundreds of dollars for something because I'm cheap.
It is hundreds of dollars, but yeah.
Well, $200s instead of $500 or $600 or $800s. I really thought I'd get a Herman Miller at one point because I was like trying to convince myself because all I did was work and sit at home. And it was just like, it's like when the argument you make about getting a good bed, right? You spend a third of your life asleep. And, if you sleep in a bad bed, then it sort of influences everything. And if you are in pain from it, then it carries over. And so I just never could quite talk myself into it.
the problem I have with the bed is my wife likes a nice, soft, fluffy bed, and I prefer to sleep basically on a pile of bricks.
Mm.
So I guess we could spend the multiple thousands of dollars for the adjustable, each side adjustable.
Oh,
but
yeah.
then how do we meet in the middle? And I mean, how would that work from a other standpoint?
I think we know where you're stabbing towards there.
Yeah.
Speaking of your health, Eric, how is it? Are you doing okay still?
Yeah, I have. So because of being on corticosteroids for such a long time, because of my long-term issues, I've now developed. My hips basically have gone. So I had an MRI yesterday, and I go Tuesday to figure out what the next step is. But most likely, it's going to be replacements.
Is it arthritis?
No, it's called avascular necrosis.
Okay.
And basically just means that fluid can't get into the joints, and so they essentially just die. And they showed me that it's supposed to be a ball, right? Ball and socket, and the ball is basically flat now because it's collapsed. And, he's like, there's really nothing else you can do because once that damage is done, it's done. There's no way to fix it outside of replacing it. So, yeah.
No, I've been
some WD-40 or something.
No, I've been having problems with my hips now for a couple of years. It doesn't sound like mine are quite as bad as yours, but it's getting rough, and I go through patches where I basically don't want to walk. And
Eric is definitely a hero in terms of what he has overcome at this point.
Yeah. Well, I just keep seeing stuff. I mean, what's funny to me, so I had no idea that this was a thing, right? I've been on prednisone for 6 or 7 years now because of having leukemia and like all this stuff that I've had to deal with. And when they diagnosed it, the doctor was so nonchalant about it, so matter of fact, like, oh yeah, this is very common, and I'm not surprised. And it's just like, well, I had no idea that this was a thing, and not just it came on so fast. Went from being just a slight pain and then more towards like a nerve pinch to like, what is going on? This is like not only is it not going away, it's getting worse, considerably worse. And so finally they diagnosed it, and yeah, for them to just be so casual.
They do it every day.
My chest X-ray, they get back to me and they say, "Oh, you have some granulomas in your upper lobes." Huh? I do?
That can't be good, right?
Oh, you didn't know that, Moss? I mean, shoot.
Oh, they're obviously benign, so don't even worry about it. That's why I cough all morning, because my body sees these granulomas as foreign substances, and it coats them with phlegm so I can cough them and get them out of there. And all I cough out, of course, is the phlegm. But
yeah,
I cough like a smoker every morning, and I'm not much of one. I never was much of one.
Yeah.
I never smoked anything, but I was smoking pipes and cigars, which might be why they're only in the upper lungs, because I try not to inhale pipe and cigar smoke.
Yeah.
The idea, when I was a kid, the biggest commercials out there for cigarettes were Kent. I smoke for taste. I smoke Kent. And I go, nobody's got taste buds in their fucking lungs. What are you talking about? And so I started smoking things that was for taste,
Yeah.
So I did pipes and cigars, and I found that the worst thing is on what I can afford. the better a cigar is, the worse it smells to other people. The better it tastes, the worse it smells.
I'll be honest and say I have never gotten cigars. I mean, I've had a few that I thought were okay.
I still have a
but
box
just
full over here. I just haven't smoked one for 3 years. Yeah.
It's like scotch, you know. I have a friend who just loves scotch. It's his thing. He's tried to explain to me like it's, you know, I'm like, at some point does it start to taste good? He's like, no, it's not really so much that it tastes good as there's different characteristics, and so you learn to appreciate the subtleties. And it's like
they tried to match the Irish and they couldn't do it.
Look, the Scottish peaty ones are the best, man.
Since they put an embargo on Ireland for a century or so, everyone was drinking scotch. It tastes like turpentine to me. But
I don't get me wrong. I like a good whiskey, but
I drink Irish. I drink.
And I've been a smoker most of my life, and my grandpa was very big into smoking his pipe, and I love the smell of him smoking his pipe.
Yeah.
And I tried smoking the same stuff that smells so good when my grandpa smoked it, and it rips your mouth out.
Yeah, I can't enjoy the pipe, and I cannot enjoy cigars because they just taste like ass.
So what you need to do is you need to like get them on those incense sticks and just let them burn. Like don't go over there and inhale or try to whatever. Just let them burn and enjoy the smell. Because I'm the same way. I grew up in bowling alleys, so like the smell of recently smoked cigarettes smell good to me, and I know I'm insane for that.
Almost like raisins. Almost like raisins.
Yeah, actually, that's a good way to compare it. I can see that. Yeah, it's a sweet kind of weird something.
Well,
man.
I actually did quite a bit of research to find out what pipe tobaccos didn't rip my mouth up and didn't taste like ass. And unfortunately, my favorite tobacco was locally produced, and the company that was producing it went under, got bought out by some Indians, and they didn't want to keep the line going. They just wanted a tobacco store so they could make money selling cigarettes. Everyone's drinking Keystone Light or nothing or something else.
Keystone
no one.
Ice.
Keystone Ice is bad. The problem with the ice product,
all the ice products, not just Keystone.
Basically, Asahi in Japan came up with the concept of ice, and it works really good for Asahi. And Asahi is not that different from Coors, but it doesn't work for Coors.
But
it's a pale ale.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
Bud Ice tastes like
ice beer. You brew it extra strong, then you freeze it, you draw off the water, and then you blend it down to the percentage it's supposed to be in the can. So you remove water and you add water, and it doesn't make sense to me. You're removing flavor with some of that water.
Well, people don't drink Bud Ice for the flavor. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
they drink it because you can. No, you drink it because you can buy it in a 40, and it's a little cheaper that way.
Yeah,
I don't drink Butt Wiper.
Natty Ice.
Yeah, all of those, man. It's beer pong time. Let's go.
Have you tried that?
There are 2 Butt Wiper products I will drink.
You know,
one is Amber Bock, is pretty good.
Yeah.
The other, when you just have to get bombed, grab some Hurricane. Yeah.
Oh God.
I don't drink.
Taste good. You just want to get bombed. Yeah.
I got to a point where I just stopped drinking that kind of beer because I didn't want the volume, and 2, if I'm going to drink beer, I want to drink something I actually enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's worth it to me to pay a little bit more. But when I was younger and I remember Jacob Best was the absolute cheapest beer you could buy. I think you could get like a 24 pack for like, I don't even remember, like, less than $20 or something like that. And so I hope it doesn't exist anymore. It was the worst beer you could possibly imagine, but it was beer. And when you're barely of legal drinking age, not that I ever partook.
Jacob Best
Look,
Pilsner,
I'm from Iowa,
Company.
and underage drinking, that doesn't happen in Iowa. I don't know if you're aware or not. There's stringent protections against it.
Yeah.
Because underage in Iowa is 1, isn't it? So
No, I think I actually stopped mostly drinking when I turned 21. So
Isn't that, you know what? It's funny you say that, Joe. I was the same way. Like I remember my 21st birthday and my friends were like, we have to go out and get, I'm like, it doesn't even hold an interest anymore.
It's like I wasn't doing this last month. Okay.
I've got news on Jacob Best, Eric. Jacob Best founded the brewery that later got bought by Frederick Pabst and became Pabst Brewing Company. Jacob Best Pilsner is still brewed by the Pabst Brewing Company.
Okay.
So it's time to go down, take a walk down memory lane, Eric.
Well, Pabst was my grandfather's beer, and their tagline is "Nothing tops it but the foam," and he always had Pabst. No, I'm thinking. Never mind, that's not it. I'm thinking of something else.
PBR is not bad if you like it.
I like PBR is actually, if I have to drink a low cost beer, I really like PBR. Cold beer on a hot day.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Look, if I'm going out and I'm hanging out with friends and they're all drinking and they want me to have a drink, I'm gonna have a Michelob Ultra.
Yeah,
not because of the flavor.
What about High Life?
Absolutely not.
High Life was my jam back in the day. The big cans of Miller High Life, I liked those, but I'm drinking the Michelob Ultra now because I'm not trying to take in the extra calories.
Dude, High Life has
High Life when I was a kid, and I can't drink it now. It makes me throw up.
High Life has all of the flavor that people say is bad in cheap beers. It's like that flavor turned all the way up to 11.
Yeah,
so
it's so
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yep, I love it.
Yeah,
and
honestly,
with Milwaukee's Best.
If I want to,
the Beast.
Oh yes,
I
Milwaukee's
always
Beast.
Call it, Milwaukee's Breast.
Yeah, Milwaukee's Best tastes like
because it
pickles
sucks.
after you drink the can.
Honestly, if I want to get ripped, I am not going to go for beer. I am either going to down a bottle of vodka, or I'm going to get myself some whiskey and enjoy my evening.
No, Wild Turkey 101 in some lemon juice and
I have
sugar,
had
dude.
some bad experience with some Wild Turkey 101.
It's because you didn't pace yourself, Joe. You
No,
got to learn.
You are at no. I paced myself. I took that. I took that little handle
Straight
and
into
I
the headache.
paced myself all the way down to the bottom of the goddamn bottle in about 3 seconds.
Little handle, you
Yeah.
said?
Nope.
That's one version of pacing. I don't think it's what Leo is talking about.
Yeah, that's
No, I was talking.
Yeah.
No, it was just one of those little like hider bottles that you could put in your jacket. So
but
it
at
was
101,
yeah,
275 milliliter flask. Yeah,
that'll hurt you.
Anyhow.
Nope. I like liquor in moderation, but I have never been one of those people. I have cousins that are the same size as me, same background, everything, but for some reason they can just put down liquor.
Practice. That's my problem.
Yes. Their liver ignores half of it. That's why.
I used to be able to hang with my friends and be able to drink with them and be slightly competitive with it if I wanted to be. But now you get somebody my weight that sits in the same room with me and we go drink for drink, I am done very fast.
I need to tell you, the liver does degenerate over age, and I am over 70 now, so I just can't knock it back like I used to.
Yeah.
Can't believe I'm over 70, and it hurts. It felt like
Hey, Moss, just look at it this way. You're working on the high score.
Well, I've got a long way to go because my great-grandpa made it to 102 and my grandmother made it to 101.
Hey, every day is a little bit closer to the goal.
If you think of it in those terms, 30 years is a long time.
Well, my mom only made it to 94, but she was doing everything her doctors told her to do, and I wouldn't do half of the shit that she was letting her doctors do to her.
I'm going to have a conversation with my doctor because of those pills that I had a bad reaction to, and I'm going to have to tell him to take those BMI numbers and shove them straight up his own ass, because I don't care if I'm at 30%. I'm 30% BMI. I'm still at 22% body fat, and my blood comes out perfect every time. So no.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. That's it for me. I got to get out of here.
All
y'all have
right,
a good
Leo.
one.
Good seeing you.
It was good talking to you, Leo. I had fun.
Show. I'll see y'all again soon. Bye.
Later.
Now, if we can talk Eric into finding a little bit of extra time, we could get him on mintCast.
See, how you get people like Eric onto mintCast is you let them pick a topic that they're really passionate about and then offer to let them come in and run the innards. So what are you really passionate about talking about?
You know, it's funny that my life ebbs and flows. I go through these periods where I am so intensely interested in a certain thing to the point where I wear myself out and I get sick of it, and then I leave it, I walk away from it, find some other distraction.
I call it hobby cycling.
Yeah. So I had been doing Linux, like just podcasts and streams and like my own channel, and I'm right around 2,500 subscribers and have some videos that have done pretty well. And I should go back and do more with it. Like I've got a list of ideas that I keep when something new comes up. And my forte has always been not, haughty speeches and conjecture and all this sort of stuff. I just find a problem that I had a hard time fixing because there wasn't information out there or whatever. And I document it. And I try to be as clear and concise as I possibly can. And people seem to really like that. I get a lot of people, like Audacity had a problem where you had to reset. I don't remember the specific command right now, but there was something where you had to do like an ALSA control restore or something like that, where it was a constant problem for me. I could never find a reason why it happened. It still happens to this day. And people still compliment or come in on that video and say, thank you. Thank you for giving me a solution to this. So, and that's my background in tech support. I was in IT for about 20 years, and my favorite thing has always been just helping people with technology, people who don't otherwise understand it or have an interest in it, but need to use it and can't, quite figure something out. I'm just someone who likes to fix problems, right? That's just my background. And so in terms of like being passionate about stuff, with Linux, it's tough because coming back to and doing Distro Hoppers Digest has really been getting my toe back in the water and trying to figure out, like, am I ready to come back and participate and make content? And so far, I've really enjoyed the episodes I've made, preparing for them and actually recording them. And I listen to you guys. That's why I wanted to come in today, because I listen to you guys constantly, like every mintCast, I'm just really getting, I think, the ball rolling again. Part of my problem is I get into a community and I really enjoy most of the members, but then there are certain things that start to annoy me, certain people that start to annoy me, and I let it pollute the rest of the experience, where it's just like, I need to walk away now because something I really like is being undermined and it drives me crazy. And rather than, I don't think that me being outwardly aggressive or rude to people is ever going to help anything. Like, I feel like I need to just stop and take a breath, because maybe it's not their fault that they're being annoying. There's so much disinformation. There's so many people that really don't know what they're talking about. And because everybody can have a voice, well, I don't know. I'm sort of rambling. I get, but
the biggest problem with mintCast is getting the time set aside. You don't have to be there every week, but every Saturday we've got a meeting, and every other Sunday we've got a show, and that's a lot of weekend to put aside from most people's schedule.
Yeah, I try to be there for everyone. Bill tries to be there for everyone. It doesn't always work out, but also, hosts come and go. If you decide you want to do one show, if you would decide you want to do two shows, it's not a permanent thing. So if you decide that that asshole Joe just isn't worth being around, then you do one show, and Joe, you're not going to hurt Joe's feelings by telling him he's an asshole.
Make my life harder because I have to keep track of who did what show.
Yeah,
Moss is keeping a list or a
and checking it twice.
He does. Trust me, I know. Yeah.
You don't think I got these rosy cheeks for nothing, did you?
Well, Moss is the prolific one. He's the one I hear everywhere between the Full Circle and mintCast and Distro Hoppers Digest, and yeah.
I'm still waiting for someone to work up a mintCast page for Wikipedia because we've been around enough years. Everything else that's been around as long as we have has their own page. My only mention in Wikipedia is on Full Circle. Because they have a Wikipedia page and they talk about Full Circle Weekly News, and that is now being run by Moss Bliss, and that's the only time Moss Bliss shows up in Wikipedia.
Moss, you know, you can create a Wikipedia page.
I have tried that, and they have every time they've taken them down.
Yep,
oh, there's not enough this, there's not enough that.
Wow, that's interesting.
What the hell is it? 8 years after I tried to put up a page for Michael Cooney, there is now a page up for Michael Cooney that's not half as good as the one I wrote, and they're leaving it there. Michael Cooney's one of my favorite musicians. He's really one of those national treasure types that you don't hear enough.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I mean, the answer is that I am happy to participate. The problem is my schedule is so weird sometimes, and also just sort of my general physical health kind of can make it difficult to commit to things. And so, again, the reason Distro Hoppers Digest is so appealing was, one, the topic of it, and sort of I had been so into trying every new distro that came out and every update to a distro, and I mean, I was just in the thick of it for such a long time, and I just kind of got sick of it. So I walked away, and I figured that the pace of Distro Hoppers Digest would be good because it gives me essentially a month to try something out, to really come to terms and form a, and that's why I like that. That's why I like it so much. That's why I wanted to be part of it, is because it's one of the few where you spend a lot of time with something, right? Way more time than most, podcasts or streams or videos or whatever. They just feel like they're so cursory in a lot of cases, where it's just like, oh, I spent 5 minutes with something and I've formed this, this grandiose opinion about the value of it, So anyway, so basically I'm saying that I do want to, I think at this point, having been going through it for a few months, that I do want to sort of come back into it. And I think mintCast, for me, based on listening to you guys and yelling at the,
telling us that how wrong we are.
Well, you all drive me crazy individually, but in some ways in a good way, in some ways in a bad way. And I feel like I'm already having the conversations. I'm already talking to you. You're not hearing me.
You in here to drive us crazy.
Right. But I just, I love the practical background. Like, you guys are, been using technology, and that's what I love hearing, like what you guys are doing with it, and the creator aspect with 3D printing and like all the stuff that you're doing, Joe, and Bill, the fact that you do a couple different podcasts, and just sort of the way that you're doing things on the road and doing a different set of technology, a different sort of style of things. I think that's really interesting. And Moss just being the stalwart, like ever present, and actually really, and I really enjoy that you try a lot of different equipment, and I just, in general, I just like the conversations. I enjoy the topics and the way that you pace it and all that stuff. But yeah, there are definitely times where I'm just like, oh, I wish I was there to say something right now.
Moss, are you having power problems?
Yeah, we are having flickering lights here.
Okay.
I thought maybe that was just...
No, but no. One of the things about us is, if you want to tell us we're wrong, we will 100% listen to everything and be perfectly okay with being wrong, because we all understand that, being wrong is how you learn things. So
it's rarely about the correctness of something. I think it's more about like how, Majit's the one that drives me crazy, probably more than anyone. And not in like a negative way. I just love that he's more of just sort of a casual in a lot of ways. Yeah, and I find that really fascinating because I know why I know stuff about computers. I made my living off of it. Like, of course I have the background and everything, but it's interesting to me because I was in healthcare too. So to hear him talk about needing to have progressive web apps to be able to interact with some of these systems that he's using, and like I know exactly how that feels, and needing to have Internet Explorer forever because it just won't die. And we had systems that were the same way. Like, you can't get rid of it because that's all but the stuff about Firefox, I was definitely ready to just be like, your opinion of Firefox is so wrong, and here's why. But I get it. I understand why someone would gravitate towards Chromium or Chrome. I'm so glad that you mentioned Vivaldi on mobile, because I think Vivaldi on Android is probably, for me, the most complete and stable and performant browser that does everything I need it to do built in without needing to do much else with it. It has a dark mode, which I kind of need for web pages so that they're not blinding me. Ad blocking and stuff built in. And yeah, I just on mobile, Firefox is awful. It just is. It's so slow. It has so few features.
I use the beta myself.
It's not that I have trouble with it. It's just in comparison, it just seems like it's so stripped down.
Give Vivaldi a try on my phone, on at least one of my phones.
To me, again, the biggest factor is the dark mode for pages. I absolutely have to have it on desktop. I use Dark Reader, and iOS too. You can use Dark Reader. The thing I don't like about Chrome on Android is you really can't do anything with the extensions, and there's just a couple things that kind of bug me with that, and ad blocking and sort of that sort of stuff. But yeah, it just Vivaldi is sort of what I've settled on after trying everything else. But yeah, the way he was talking about. So I've had a couple websites that will either pop up and tell me, you're not using Chrome, you need to use Chrome, or that just didn't work properly. And the other assertion that all websites are built for Chrome, believe it or not, Firefox is more standards compliant. So I build my websites on Firefox, and they always work on Chrome. Because if you follow standards, that just tends to mean that it's going to work everywhere. Chrome has sort of made some decisions and done some things with their own, the way the engine works and stuff like that. But in most cases, it still respects the standards from sort of an upstream perspective, if that makes sense. So I will on occasion, so CSS will render differently sometimes in different browsers. They've made decisions around that. So there's definitely some times where, especially on mobile for some reason. So if I am developing a site, I have to be very careful about checking the mobile experience in multiple browsers. But the desktop just tends to be, and that's a far cry from where it was 10 years ago. It was a mess 10 years ago. Where I had literally each site I built, I had to build it like 4 times. Each browser, like it had a lot of overhead. And today it just seems like it's a lot better. So anyway.
Well, our last episode was not the last episode. What did we do on the last episode?
Ethical telemetry.
Ah, that's right. Okay, so it was the one before we were talking about browsers.
Yeah.
Anyway, the thing about Firefox is where I'm to the point where I'll try Firefox first, but then when it comes to like some of the web-based applications that we use to make the show, for example, we use this thing called Video Ninja, and it just works better on Chromium. And so
Jitsy's the same way.
We had the lead developer for Video Ninja on the show some months back, and he was telling me to use Chromium and that's the browser that he tests for and everything. And he says he seems to be of the opinion that it's got a better audio-video stack. And for me, it's like, well, I can't do anything about the browser that he chooses to do most of his testing on, and so I've kind of made that. I've kind of made that compromise just to have.
You have to be pragmatic, right?
Yeah.
You have to use what works. If you fight, that's one of the areas of open source and freedom, software freedom, that has never quite made much sense to me. Like, of course, if it's possible, and there's a open source version of something that works, and in some cases that thing may work even better than a proprietary solution. But if you're faced with a situation where you have to get real work done and you can't do it because whatever you're using doesn't work, you have to pick what works. And so when you were explaining that, and I completely agree with you, anything with media, video, audio, any of that stuff, Chromium definitely works better. Hardware acceleration, all of that stuff just works better in Blink than it does in Firefox. So
I try to just use Chromium for things like that, and then I avoid Chrome so that I'm not dealing with any of those back-end APIs, or I'm not using the Chrome's the Google search and all that, which is using all the APIs to do all of the translations and the things like that, and that's just kind of my compromise. But that being said, I use Google search on Firefox, so I don't know, make of that what you will.
Again, I generally use DuckDuckGo, but there are times where I'm not happy with the search results, and I absolutely flip over to either Start Page or Google, because they have a different set.
I sometimes
wasn't there a bit of a
page,
kerfuffle?
I usually use Swiss cows.
Wasn't there a bit of a thing a couple of years ago with DuckDuckGo using Google as their backend and also providing analytics to them as well?
I think that was the app on Android. They were selling some analytics or something, but then their excuse is, well, it's still better than everything else. So,
well, I have some paperwork to get done, and my butt's getting sore sitting here, so I probably should get going.
Yeah,
it's been a great streamcast.
Yeah, this was good. We don't have a topic.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm glad I actually came on.
Yeah,
I've been debating.
We babble for 5 minutes and going, what are we talking about? I don't know. Let's keep babbling for more time, and that's about all it is. Yeah, but this has been a good one.
I honestly think that organic discussion is very interesting to listen to. Like, I like the Late Night Linux Joe Resington podcast, because it's a perfect demonstration of like guardrails around a conversation, having a moderator more or less where he can kind of guide things and keep it on track, but giving everybody enough room to sort of speak their mind, and what you get out of that is usually a really good conversation, instead of being too strict where you're like, no, we have to talk about this and only this, or being completely freeform.
And that's all.
Joe doesn't like me.
Joe Rez, because you guys had one conversation that didn't end up well, and then you tried to fix things between you two during the New Year's special, and that just did not go well.
So many times to fix things between us. He just doesn't understand the difference. It's just like everything I do is attacking his business model. I'm not attacking his business model.
I get to talk to that guy. Yeah, I get to talk to that guy once a year. I love talking to him. I try to avoid the topic of Moss because I know that that's not going to go well. So,
well, the problem was when I advertised on his Telegram group for Full Circle Weekly News, and what I said was no ads, no BS, and he thought that both of those things was attacking him. I have changed it to no ads, no chatter, or something like that.
Yeah,
I think saying that everything he was talking about was BS, and he was doing it only for money. And I'm going, I don't have a problem with you working for money. You just shouldn't have a problem with me not working for money.
I could see how if you would have just advertised the show on a neutral platform and said, no ads, no nothing like that.
I was advertising on every platform I had access to that liked having me around. And when Joe stopped having me around, I stopped. Originally, he said that it was that my editing job was not professional enough, and so I took that to heart and I worked on it.
I would tell him, and my answer to that would be like, well, yep, you're absolutely right. I don't sit at home all day and have the time to edit. So
Joe Rez has a different standard when it comes to audio quality. It's actually a really difficult standard to meet.
Yeah, and he'll go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I just don't.
Yeah,
I've been working on it, and I thought I'd fix it, and then it turns out he was just upset about me saying no ads, no BS, and he wasn't really worried about my quality in the first place.
But could you see how that would be interpreted on it? It's one thing to say that on a neutral platform, but when you say that on his, I can almost see how, you came here, and then this is how you worded it. You're not on your channel saying that, you're on my channel, and I happen to be a show with ads and a lot of banter and all that, And you're right. One of the biggest selling points of Full Circle Weekly News is you get the news and you get it right now. I mean, you get a huge amount of data to go through in a short period of time, and putting ads in that would really break the flow, I think.
Yeah, we know you didn't mean it as an insult,
right.
and I guess Joe in that particular instance was just a little bit sensitive on the topic. I don't know.
And continues to be, because there's nothing I can say to him to say I didn't mean.
Listening to the two of you talk when you did talk during that New Year's special, you guys were kind of talking at cross paths almost, and it just didn't work out. So it was easier just to not pay attention to that portion of the conversation.
Did it get awkward? Was it just
got a little awkward? Just
for what it's worth. I mean, I do.
I didn't mean to upset him in any way, and I keep trying to tell him I'm not attacking him. He just can't see it any other way.
Yeah, I think he does. He's trying to be very conscientious about it. He was going to try those auto inserted ads. He was working with someone where apparently that's what he was going to switch to, and something came up that the quality or type of ads that were going to be injected were not what he thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
And he thought that was going to be a bad experience for his listeners, and so he has postponed doing that indefinitely because he doesn't want to annoy people with the ads. And I get that. I mean, anything where you're trying to generate revenue in this space can often be looked at as being a negative thing, even if you're investing a lot of your time into producing a more or less professional podcast, a whole series of them.
Him coming to that realization and talking about it kind of made me take notice, because I was using those programmatic
guys,
ads.
I gotta get out of here. My wife is threatening to leave me.
All right, see you, Mom.
She's probably gonna leave me anyhow, because I have to stay home and do paperwork, but she has to get out of the house, and I better spend a little time with her before she does that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get going here in a second.
Yeah, me too. But real quick though, I was using the programmatic ads on Linux OTC, and then when Joe started talking about that, I got to thinking, because we had a guy in Australia who told me one of the ads that he was getting was for the Australian police force right when he was driving by the administration building. It was a recruiting ad.
Hello.
And I got to thinking, well, the only way that can be possible is with the tracking pixels that go along with some of these services.
Yeah.
So,
I
shut all that off because I wasn't
getting
much value out of it anyway.
Bill's kids are pretty cute.
Dare you?
They're also like a lot younger than you too, so
True.
I have two.
They still got that inherent cuteness that are from being in like grade school.
Anyway, I guess we'll figure out.
Younger kid.
Well, yes, you were particularly annoying, but other people still found you cute. The people that got to send you home to be a little shit at home, as opposed to,
Well, we don't have a topic.
Oh, Dad.
I guess we'll just kind of figure out one.
We have a topic.
Well, you're not going to be here, though.
We have a topic. I might not be here. It depends on my day. I'm told you I would still write it up, and you guys could run with it if you needed to. Either that, or I will convince my dad to like come on, and we will just interview him, and you can ask him how horrible of a kid I was.
Oh,
and how the tree in the backyard grew so many beer cans.
My imagination usually fills in the blanks on these things, but I'm drawing up a blank on that one.
I used to park my what was it, the Bronco? No, the Blazer. I used to park my Blazer back there and throw beer cans out the window, empty.
And you claimed they came from the tree.
He claimed they came from the tree. I didn't care.
So when are you guys recording your next episode?
Next Sunday, 2 p.m.
Sunday. Are you still doing the Saturday stream, or you only do the Saturday one week and then the Sunday the next week?
We will have a meeting, but that will be a private meeting.
That's fine.
You can come if you want. I don't mind that. But
it never lasts like this.
Yeah,
we've been going 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Just to make sure that everybody is on task to writing their notes. If they have any questions in regards to the topic, if they have anything that might come up, make sure their sound quality is good, especially if we're having a guest. And then we will meet usually 20 to 30 minutes before showtime. At least that's what we try for, unless our name is Majid. And then at 2 p.m., we try to kick it off, depending on how well Bill's equipment is working. And if we can stop... And if we can stop laughing and joking and talking smack about Moss, then we'll start at around 2:15, and it should last until about 4:30, 5 o'clock, depending.
2:15, like Central Time. Where do you live?
Florida.
So
it'll be 3:15.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Depends on which part of Florida you live in, because my dad's in the same time zone as me, and he's in Florida.
So the Panhandle or the rest of Florida?
I'm down in Florida, like southwestern Florida. So.
Oh, you mean actual Florida, not the Panhandle? Oh, God.
Not the sweet corn fields.
Yeah. Down in the heat.
Yeah. There's heat everywhere.
It's been a brutal summer. Oh, I know.
Yeah, it has.
Everywhere it's been a brutal summer.
Brutal. And I know part of it is getting a little older and not being able to just deal with the heat as much as I used to, but my goodness, it's just been constant 95-degree days with 80% humidity and just...
That's all?
Woo!
That's all?
He doesn't...
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about
95?
Well, so it depends on where you
95.
are. Yeah, it depends on where you are. So if I have to go to appointments in Tampa a lot, which is about an hour north of me. And for some reason, just that 60-mile difference, it'll be 100 degrees there. And when I come back south 60 miles, it's 95. So
what gets me is it gets to be 9:30 and it's dark out, and it's been dark out for a little while by that time. And it's still like 98 degrees and humid. And it's like, I can't even lift weights right now because it's too damn hot and I will die.
Yeah. Yep. Or you'll slide because your hands are soaked. Yeah. Well, the best thing about summer is it ends eventually. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I actually prefer the heat over the cold, but I'm tired of the heat already.
Yeah. Well, it never gets cold here. Not real cold, at least. So that's the one.
Ever used to get really cold around here, except like maybe once or twice in a year. And then, you had snowpocalypse like a year and a half ago. And it's just the weather variances in the DFW area are starting to drive me nuts. I can't get used to something long enough, and then it changes.
Yeah. Well, I think we're just going to keep seeing more and more of this weirdness. And, you see alarmist stories like last week. There was that one where they're saying that that Atlantic current's going to shut down as soon as next year, and it's like, come on now, like I don't think that's true, but
they're saying that it could happen sometime between like 2035 and 2055 if the trends continue the way that they are. And it's actually somewhat understandable when they explain the physics behind what could happen that would cause the current to change. So
yeah.
As temperatures rise, as water temperatures rise, it melts more of the polar ice caps, and more non-salty water melts into the ocean. And as that happens, the buoyancy of the water changes. So the temperature variance no longer makes the less
flow.
Right. The less buoyant water go down, or actually, yeah, less buoyant water go down to the bottom and then re-spread out the way salt water would. So
Mm-hmm.
Well, I gotta get out of here, so I'm gonna have to kill this.
All right. Yeah, I keep saying that too.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Eric.
Absolutely. Finally.
Yeah, it was good talking to you, Eric. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Come again.
Definitely.
Thanks for watching.
Will do.